Hi everybody, welcome back. This is a video about one of the nicest model I've ever crossed. This is the Tamiya release of the Mercedes 300 SL, that in German means super light, you know. And for other descriptions it became like a sport light, because this was the coupe version of the 1954, I think, Mercedes Roadster, Gullwing, famous to be Gullwing, available both in the coupe version, that was this one, and in the Roadster version, produced slightly later, if I'm not wrong, and in major numbers than the closed version. You know, the Roadster was also particular because she had a different front light. You know, she had the front light typical of the Mercedes of the 60s. So it was an incredibly nice car that had also a very important historical palmarès for racing and for participating in so many important competitions such as Mille Miglia, Targa Florio. They made a lot of competition with this stuff, and also in the United States, in America, sorry, she became famous for participating to Carrera Panamericana, so the Mexican race. Tamiya made this incredible model nowadays, nearly 10 years ago. The box is plated 2015. Of course, they respect all the license from Daimler-Benz, and inside the box you will find absolutely true masterpiece of the status of the art of what is available today on the market. And honestly, not very often you cross models so nice and nicer than this Tamiya one. I have a thing for Tamiya, you know, because when I cross one of their production, every time the model is constantly a very nice release, you know. So you have the proportion and the shape that nearly always is absolutely perfect. And if the model like this box is a kind of recent release, you know, being a 2015, is about is a model that is already in the newest generation of the plastic molds of this type of cars, you will have absolutely something incredible in your hands. I remember that the Gullwing 300 SL already have been made in the past, I think from Italeri, and the same box was available from Heller, Airfix, I think also Revel did, but Revel I'm nearly sure that also made, because I have it in my warehouse, they also made the competition version, you know, so the SLR, still in Moscow, you know, so it was a competition version of this vehicle. It was incredibly nice because back in time they used it to do racers and all the cars, you know, with this structure. So you basically had a tubular frame that was basically the bones of the vehicle, over which they assembled the metallic structure made in steel for the body panels, and this Gullwing basically had the bonnet, the trunk, and the Gullwing external shell of the door made in aluminium. So SL, as we said, became super light, so everything had to be in the idea of the performance. It was still a magic time where they could make cars for ordinary daily use, extremely elegant, masterpiece, basically handmade stuff, and incredibly reliable both for everyday use and for racing. This was still one of the type of car that you can use to go, I don't know where, to Monte Carlo, where you want, or in Costa Azzurra, and then drive this car and go racing. And the car was extremely performant, and she had, I think at the time, something like 240 horsepower, so it was, for 1954, it was a big number, you know. It was still far away from the arrival of the big Ferrari of Cobras, so it was still that type, you know. And as you can see, Tamiya made this is a representation not only of the actual car, you know, it's a drawing, but it's exactly what you will find in the inside the model, because they made everything of these parts. Let's see what's inside. Already starting from the packaging is absolutely well done. They placed this kind of reinforcement here on the box. You see, this is reinforcement in paper, but quite steady, you know. to avoid that other boxes, like all we used to do, will press and folder the A pillar on the main frame here. So this is absolutely well done, including this type of reinforcement. So really, to smash the model, you really have to jump on it. So it's not so easy with other boxes over simply to press, like it happened in nearly all the other models of cars that we have in Fujimi, and Fujimi is typical to have this problem, you know. Also inside here they also provide a quite steady, even made in paper, but quite carton, very well placed, you know, in the position that so the part sits over here without foldering, without moving. So she sits here and you are okay with everything, and you will not have any kind of damage over that. Inside you have a very nice and detailed metal transfer, you know. They are extremely well done. They are basically kind of photo etched set, you know. Correctly they propose the star of the Mercedes logo made this way instead of printing that on the trunk of the vehicle like many others will do. It's more expensive, of course, to produce something like this, but extremely much more realistic, you know, and is much better from the modeling point of view. It's also something extremely well done, that every time you will find in a Tamiya box, they are extremely precise. So it's very nice detail, plus a quite basical inner part. I don't see, probably is the only lack of this model. I cannot see here. I don't think they place it inside, no, because that is a frame for the painting inside there, plus a net for the front radiator. But probably the biggest missing in this box, available anyway on the market, it is the tartan that was constantly used in the interior of this car. So the inner cockpit of the SL, here there is a picture and you can see that they nearly all had this tartan structure, you know. And I think it was a combo of 2 or 3 different combo color available from factory, you know. It is a very interesting, there is a very interesting Wikipedia page, if you Google for it, about this Mercedes-Benz SL. They place nearly all the history. They just lack a little on the description of the differences in the body series between the first and the second series, with the different front lights, you know, from the coupe and the roadster version, you know. Basically, as I said, when you see a roadster, basically you just look at the light. The biggest, more external differences about the front light, that they are made in this way for the coupe, and as I said, in the longer way, typical from Mercedes of the same era on the roadster, you know. The real car also had a difference in the suspension. Was much more heavy, I think, nearly, they say something like 200 kilos more than the ordinary vehicle, but they made much more numbers, so it was much more common basically for the American market. You know, this was a car that is extremely connected to the history of America, because they are famous in every movie they had at the time. It was the supercar of the time, you know. It was still an era. We are in 1954, so we are quite before the beginning of the real Ferrari for the people, you know. And the Ferrari was starting, but the real masterpieces, in my opinion, start with the Catamarano version of the Testarossa, that is also a car from 56, if I'm not wrong. So it was the era where they started everybody to do this kind of supercars, you know. Going shortly to the model is absolutely fantastic, really. All the packaging is, as I said, really incredibly well done, so it's really dump proof. There is no possibility to make any real damage if you respect what Tamiya did, and the clear parts are absolutely perfect and immaculate, you see. Despite quite thick to give the structure to the main frame, they're absolutely well done. This is the front one, you see. They also study a very useful way to glue it in position without having problems. You know, this is a part that for many modelers can be quite tricky to fix. Instead, Tamiya made it in the way that you cannot make a mistake. You cannot go wrong with them. This is one of the plus of this factory, you know. Tamiya, when they do stuff, the more they are newer, the nicest they are. So you can go wrong with them. Also here the chromed parts are absolutely well done. You see also the coverage for the wheels are absolutely well done. They just require maybe a little wash in black to make all the details coming up, but the detail is absolutely fantastic, you know. This is the main part with the bonnet, the door and the rims. Look how well done are the rims. over this you have to place that chromed detail over. And this was still one of the model that Tamiya made, featuring all the interior part completely detailed. So the seats, everything here can be reworked in the proper hands to become even more detailed, but the basic is absolutely well done, with interiors that just need to be covered in leather or with the proper effect, you know, and the hub for the motor, as well as the seats, you know, they are absolutely very well reproduced, and the motor is complete in this model, so you can absolutely show everything and every detail. You just have to add the wiring and other minor detail that probably you will find all over online, because the car is this type of car is extremely famous, so there is absolutely everything around her. Also the exhaust line is absolutely well done, you see. Fantastic model, really. I have few words really about this, and plus this is really the plus of the kit. This is all the tube frame chassis of the vehicle, so when you will build it up, you will really be in the history of how they made the real thing, you know. And it's also packaged also here, you see, with the pins under there to avoid people press it over it, so it's really studied in the best way possible. So I think really this model from Tamiya was something absolutely that you cannot absolutely miss if you have a proper collection of cars, you know. This is still, as I say, something that is between a real racer, a pure racer, and a luxury car, because in that time it was still available to have this kind of possibility with this type of exotic cars, you know, with this type of luxury cars. And Tamiya really made the status of the art. This is a model that you absolutely have to collect, and if you can also find the time to build it up is even better, because it's really a pleasure. You see, absolutely fantastic model. Plus they also have, if you want to see, because this was an idea that many have back in time, nowadays not so common, because it's difficult that somebody go there and turn your model, you know. It's very easy with fingers to make an image, but the idea for them is anyway good, to leave the under panel completely transparent and quite detailed. As you see, there is events proper and correct, so it's not just the simple part, but it's the possibility to see all the details under the vehicle. It's simply a fantastic kit, so go for it, you cannot miss it. Tamiya made another masterpiece. Thanks for watching.